Welcome to our channel featuring stories of children who have overcome challenges, made a difference, and demonstrated extraordinary courage and determination. This story is about overcoming adversity.
The story of Ruby Bridges, a brave little girl. Once upon a time, in a small town in Mississippi, a baby girl named Ruby Nell Bridges was born on September 8, 1954. Ruby was born during a time when life was very unfair for Black people in the United States. Many places like schools, restaurants, and buses were segregated. This meant that Black people and white people had to use separate spaces, and the spaces for Black people were often not as nice as those for white people. Ruby's family didn't have much money, but they were rich in love. Her parents worked hard. Her father worked on a farm, and her mother took care of Ruby and her younger siblings. When Ruby was 4 years old, her family moved to New Orleans, Louisiana, hoping for better opportunities. A big change in schools. At that time, schools in the South were also segregated. Black children and white children went to different schools, even if they lived in the same neighborhood. The schools for Black children often didn't have enough books or supplies. In 1954, the Supreme Court decided in a case called Brown v. Board of Education that segregation in schools was unfair and against the law. The court said all children should be able to go to school together. But even though this decision was made, many states in the South didn't want to follow it. When Ruby was 6 years old, a judge ordered some all-white schools in New Orleans to accept Black students. To decide who could attend these schools, Black children had to take a very hard test. Ruby was one of 6 children who passed the test. Ruby's first day at William Frantz Elementary. Ruby was chosen to go to William Frantz Elementary School, an all-white school near her home. Her parents were nervous about sending her there because they knew it would be dangerous. Her father worried about how people would treat Ruby, but her mother believed it was important for Ruby to have the same opportunities as other children. On November 14, 1960, Ruby got ready for her first day at her new school. She wore a clean white dress and shiny black shoes. 4 federal marshals came to her house that morning to protect her because they knew some people would be angry about her attending the school. When Ruby arrived at William Frantz Elementary School with the marshals by her side, she saw a large crowd of angry people outside the school. They shouted mean words and held signs saying they didn't want her there. Some even threw things at her. But Ruby stayed calm and walked into the school bravely. One of the marshals later said that Ruby walked like a little soldier. She didn't cry or complain, she just kept walking. A lonely year. Ruby thought she would meet new friends at school, but when she got there, she found out that all the other students had been taken out of the school by their parents because they didn't want their children to study with her. For an entire year, Ruby was the only student in her classroom. Her teacher, Mrs. Barbara Henry, came all the way from Boston to teach Ruby. Mrs. Henry treated Ruby with kindness and respect and taught her just like she would teach any other student. Even though it was just the 2 of them in the classroom every day, Mrs. Henry made learning fun for Ruby. At lunchtime, Ruby ate alone because no one wanted to sit with her. During recess, she played by herself on the playground. Every day when she walked into school or went home after class, she had to pass by the angry crowds outside shouting mean things at her. But Ruby didn't let any of this stop her from learning. She prayed every morning before entering school and asked God to forgive the people who were being unkind to her. Support from kind people. Even though many people treated Ruby unfairly, there were also kind people who supported her bravery. Some families sent money to help Ruby's family because her father lost his job after she started attending William Frantz Elementary School. Her mother stayed home to take care of Ruby and her siblings, while neighbors helped babysit or bring food. Ruby's courage inspired others across the country. People wrote letters saying how proud they were of her for standing up for what was right. Things began to change. Over time, things slowly started to get better. More African American students joined William Frantz Elementary School, and some white families brought their children back too. The angry crowds outside began to disappear as people realized that all children deserved an equal education. Ruby grows up. Ruby continued going to integrated schools as she grew older. She graduated from high school and later became a travel agent. She got married and had 4 sons of her own. But Ruby never forgot what it felt like to be treated differently because of the color of her skin. In 1999, she started the Ruby Bridges Foundation to teach children about tolerance and kindness, so that no one else would have to go through what she did. A lasting legacy. Ruby's story became famous around the world. The artist Norman Rockwell painted a picture called "The Problem We All Live With," showing little Ruby walking with federal marshals on her first day of school, while angry people shouted behind them. Today, there is even a statue of Ruby at William Frantz Elementary School as a reminder of how one brave little girl helped change history. The lesson we can learn. Ruby Bridges showed us that even small acts of courage can make a big difference. She taught us that we should always stand up for what is right and treat everyone with kindness and respect no matter what they look like or where they come from. And so, whenever we hear about Ruby Bridges, we remember how one little girl's bravery helped make School Sand our world a fairer place for everyone.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. I hope you loved the content and please stay tuned for more.